From your most watched, most trusted weather source, here's your certified, most accurate First Alert forecast.
We didn't have high hopes that this would be a big rainmaker, but it was the first round of rain of 2026. And for some, it may not look like much because the rain gauges either haven't updated or the rain was so light at the airports that they didn't even get to 1/100th of an inch, showing 0 at Williamston and Greenville, likely at least a trace, 100th at Rocky Mount and Goldsboro, over 1/10 of an inch in Kenansville, not quite to a 1/10 of an inch there in Onslow County at the airport. We kind of alternate between the airport and the air station, just depending on which sensor seems to be the most accurate. Almost 1/10 of an inch in New Bern, almost 2/10 of an inch in Cherry Point and Beaufort. Really, one spot that got the most rain, Hatteras at 0.31, and still raining across the Outer Banks. Notice over the next week, though, just not a lot of great chances for rain. This goes through all the way next Sunday morning, and we have some shower chances, but again, no one really expected to get close to or over 1/4 of an inch of rain. So we will continue to be dry, and especially as we get into the warmer weather this week, may start to dry out a little bit faster of a pace. Again, not done with the rain just yet. Still have some rain across the Outer Banks and in Hyde County, even down into portions of Carteret County, even a little bit of yellow showing up. So maybe some last moments of some heavier rainfall to add a few more 100ths of an inch. A little bit lighter from Ocracoke to Hatteras and starting to taper off across the Sound. Cedar Island might be done with the rain here in about, 15, 20 minutes. It's been back building a little bit, so maybe a few more showers possible. Even a little bit of new round of rain starting to develop just east of the Atlantic Beach Bridge and more towards Fort Macon, and then heading through Beaufort back over towards Smyrna and over to Harkers Island as well. It's cold outside. If you haven't been outside lately, temperatures have fallen about 10 degrees since where we were this afternoon. 32 at freezing in Greenville, 34 in Kinston, 20s showing up in Roanoke Rapids and Ahoskie, where the rain is in the 40s. So no snow, no ice going to mix in on the backside of this system. Eventually, most of us drop below freezing through the overnight hours with a lot of 20s around too. Still in the 30s and above freezing from Swan Quarter down to Beaufort, 41 in Hatteras. Overall, if you really want a snowy pattern or a cold pattern like we had to start December, we just don't see any signs that's going to repeat anytime soon. In fact, we get warmer over the next week. Look at all the yellow just taking up across the U.S., and that's going to keep us well above average, about 10 to 15 degrees above average as we head through the rest of the week. And any cold air just kind of dies out or isn't strong enough to make it to us. That can change. Sometimes model data struggles with that. And there is a little bit more pink and purple showing up in Canada and the Arctic, so there's hope. We've still got about half of winter left, but just don't think in the short term we'll be dealing with any snow or ice concerns. Probably wouldn't see a pattern change at this rate until mid-January or later. In fact, once we get through some cold nights, 28 both tonight and Sunday night into Monday morning, we're above freezing from Monday, really Monday morning after the sun comes up, all the way through the rest of the 8-day forecast. And some more cloud cover this week. A little breezy on Wednesdays. We try to get into the 70s, but overall, just not very January-like. In fact, it looks a little bit more like early March.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing because we go from 28 degrees there and then we see a 72 degrees there. Just a big up and down here, but that's the North Carolina weather for you. Right?
It is. It'll go down eventually, but at least once we get past Monday morning, we're more up than down.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, Zach.